Hey Taylor, my name is Natalie and I'm going to be helping you out with medical terminology today. First, we're going to look at simply just the word parts you'll be saying as you put these words together. The first word part will be root words. Root words cannot stand alone. They're the basic meaning of a word. They generally describe a body part and they need a prefix at the beginning and a suffix at the end. Some examples of root words are gaster, which means stomach, cardi, which means heart, and larynge, which means larynx or throat. The next word part will be combining forms. Combining forms will always include a vowel. The vowel is added to the first root word unless the first root word already begins with a vowel, then the combining form will be the second root word in your term. Some examples of combining forms are gastro, which is the combining form of stomach, cardio, which is the combining form of heart, and laryngo, which is the combining form of larynx or throat. The next word part will be prefixes. Prefixes are added at the beginning of a root word or combining form. They usually indicate a time, location, or number. Some examples of prefixes are peri, which means surrounding, pro, which means before, and sub, which means below. The final word part we'll be talking about are suffixes. Suffixes go at the end of a root word or a combining form. Combining vowels will not be used when the suffix of your word begins with a vowel. The dash will go at the beginning of your suffix to not get them confused with a prefix. Some examples of suffixes are itis, which is inflammation, emia, which is blood condition, and globin, which is protein. Now we're going to talk about how to build your medical terms. Most words will have prefixes, root words, and suffixes, but this is not always the case, as you'll see in the examples. Make sure you always drop your combining vowel before a suffix beginning with a vowel. Some examples of terms that have been built are gastritis. This word contains just a root and a suffix, no combining form or prefix. The next word is hematology. This word contains a combining form and a suffix, but no prefix. The final word is ataxia. This word contains all three basic word parts, prefix, root, and suffix, but no combining form. Breaking down words is incredibly important in medical terminology. This is how you're actually going to understand the term that you're hearing. When you're reading a medical term, you want to read it backwards, right to left, instead of how you're trained to read, which is left to right. Make sure you separate your word into all of its parts and understand what each part means to put the word together. Determine the context in which the term is being used. This will be very helpful in determining what the word actually means. Some examples of breaking words down are nephrectomy, so you're going to start from the right. So ectomy is surgical removal, and neph is kidney. So this would be surgical removal of the kidney. Cystoscopy. Scopy is viewing, and cysto is a fluid-filled sac. Cardiomyopathy. Pathy is disease process, myo is muscle, and cardio is heart. So that's a disease of your heart muscle. Many words in the medical terminology world sound alike and look alike, which can be very confusing. So they may look similar, but they have very different meanings, which means one word can change the entire term that you're trying to say. I think the most important example of this is ileum and ileum. They're said exactly the same and they only have a one-letter difference. Ileum is the last portion of your small intestine, and ilium is part of your hip bone. Some other examples are artery, which means artery, ather, which means plaque, and arther, which means joint. There's also ostomy, which is an artificial opening, and otomy, which is a surgical incision. So these words all look very similar, but they're not used interchangeably. Here's some extra examples of words that you might commonly hear in the hospital. Electrocardiogram, which is a recording of the electrical activity of the heart. Gastrograph, which is an instrument used for recording the inside of your stomach. Radiography, viewing structures of the body using x-rays. Endoscope, which is a flexible tube with a light and camera. Some more examples are colonoscopy, a procedure done to view the inside of the large intestine. Phlebotomy, which is making an incision in a vein in order to draw blood. Appendectomy, which is a surgical removal of the appendix. And colostomy, which is a surgical procedure creating an opening from the large intestine to the outside of the body. I hope this was helpful in helping you understand medical terms and knowing which part of the words are important, where to place them, and I hope this was just overall helpful.